Hello, Bigfoot enthusiast. Scott here from Squatch, America.
And Hannah, the domestic goddess in the paddy wagon, who's being really, really annoyed by a pesky fly tonight.
Yep.
If I flail about weirdly and holler a booger word, it's because there's a really, really crazy fly driving me nuts.
All right. Hi, Donna and Renee. Donna, first one in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Us. Who's us? Renee, and is your sweet babu watching, Renee?
So,
your sweet skeptical babu?
Yep. So, tonight, we're doing a follow-up. So, we originally had a guest lined up, but he bailed on us. He had something come up, so we will catch up with him in a couple weeks. But Denise is watching on TV. Yay! All right, and hello, Flat Rock. Great to be here. So
now, if you missed it,
if you missed last week, we're going to kind of do a slight recap. But we went back to the area over the weekend and actually spent the night there. And we found some fun new stuff.
So while we are playing the intro, if you haven't taken the poll, go take the poll, which is in the chat.
There you go.
Play the intro.
Play the intro. All right, so
I did a video of our camping trip on my Facebook page. I did not do a sneak peek of our Bigfoot stuff.
Oh, okay. So this will be fun because we're going to get back into the nest thing tonight with a little twist at the end. So stay tuned. And if you haven't, go back to a video we posted yesterday about the walk around in the truck and tell us what you think.
Yes, in fact,
like, share,
share. Us a favor. That wonderful, wonderful truck walk around, like it and share it. Put it on all your social media pages. Put it on Facebook and on Insta. Well, I don't know if you can do it on Insta, but put it on Facebook because we really want to blow that video out of the water.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're looking for some kind of like truck sports company to
sponsor.
Notice.
Yeah, we're looking for a sponsor for a rooftop tent. So
yep,
that's it. So anywho, let's get into the show. So is this still a Bigfoot nest? You're not answering that?
Well, the problem is I know the answer. So do you want me to be funny about it?
No. All right. So as you know, last week we got this video from a gentleman who his name's Leonard, by the way, and you'll meet him tonight. Well, not live, but he found this last in the spring,
March or April. Spring was so late this year; it could have even been May. It was mushroom season, so it might have been May, and you can hear him talking. I don't know if I shared that audio from that, but anyway, so he found this nest. So this week, last weekend, we went back to the area and we did a further investigation, I guess we'll put it that way. We investigated it some more.
And come up with some great stuff, and we're going to share that with you tonight. All right.
Tonight. Sorry.
So this is the Bigfoot nest as we see it today.
And as we showed it to you last week.
A quick little recap here. And this is the entrance, and down inside the entrance it's lined with basically fir bough bedding inside that opening. This thing looks a lot like an igloo, if you ask me.
Did you get my cute pictures of me laying in it?
Shh, spoiler alert.
Ow, don't pinch me.
So anyway, every single branch, to follow up, every single branch that is woven into this monstrosity is broken. There's not one that is cut in any way, shape, or form. We actually went back and I made sure I looked at the end of every single stick in the structure, and that took a bit. And some of them are up to 4 to 6 inches wide. So it is crazy that these are broken off.
Keep talking.
So
you're squirreling with the chat.
I'm squirreling with the chat. Okay, so this is the nest as we saw it when we got back. Compared to the nest when he first saw it, there's not a lot has changed of it other than the greenery's died. So it's pretty much the way we found it.
Now, Donna said, if it is used as a birthing nest, wow, the DNA there. You looked for that.
Yep, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
Okay. You guys are always ahead of me. It's so crazy. So this is us back at the site, checking it out. And we actually spent 2 days there this time and spent the night in the area. Now, last time we were up there, we did get tree knocks and stuff. It was crazy exciting. But this time, crickets, nothing.
But you're going to love what we discovered about those tree knocks.
Yep.
I know he's thinking in his head, what the heck is she talking about?
What the hell is she talking about? Anyway, so
you used a grown-up word.
Okay, so here is the entrance. Hi, Lockbeard and Donald Fuller. Hi, how you doing? My namesake. My first name's Donald. Also, I think we'd said that before. But anyway, this is the entrance. And so what I did when we got back this time, full disclosure, is I had
we have completely defiled it.
I have a magnifying glass, and I stuck my head in there without disturbing anything as much as I could. And we checked all over the bottom of that, all over the inside, and I could not find one single hair. Not that they're not there, it's just I couldn't find it.
And you even have a little lot.
And then we also use a UV flashlight to look for biological stuff, like biological leftovers of any sort. Blood, sweat, tears, all that stuff. Other bodily fluids. So we
monkeypox spreaders.
Yeah, we used the UV light and scanned the whole inside of that, and also nada. Now, like I said, this has been sitting here since May that we know of, maybe even before that. So it's been through
somewhere between October and May it was built.
Yeah. So it's been through snow, tons of rain this spring. So it's probably been washed fairly well. So anyway, so after the close and meticulous inspection of the inside of this thing with magnifying glasses, UV lights, and tweezers, we found nothing. So I took a big chance. In the archaeological world, you're probably not supposed to do this, but
at this point it's kind of moot not to.
Yeah. So to give you a better perspective of the size of this thing, we stuck a grown-up human inside it.
Now, can I say something, or will I steal your thunder?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you notice this, now with me, it's a lot easier to tell with me laying in there. And it was interesting because you don't walk into this thing. You actually have to climb into it because it's not like there's an igloo doorway that's flush with the ground. The entrance actually has like a huge lip built up on it. Mm-hmm. So it's less of a door and more of a hole.
Yeah.
And But that was the first thing I noticed is like it took some finagling for me to get in there.
So there's Hannah, to give you an idea, there's Hannah laying in there. And from every other angle except for the front of it, if this stuff was still green, you couldn't see her. You can kind of see her in there right now, but all the foliage is dried up and a lot of the pine needles had fell off. But if she was laying in there, it would be pretty much covered up.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And of course, you know what to know. You want to know what the first thing Hannah did when she got in the Bigfoot nest.
You're so funny.
Yes, one must take a selfie inside the Bigfoot nest.
Well, heck yeah. How many people can say I took a selfie in a Bigfoot nest? I mean, come on. Come on, it's for posterity. Donna wants to know if the DNA would have seeped into the dirt.
There's a possibility, but it is so hard to separate all that stuff once it gets contaminated.
So this is not, we're not looking at this as a possible DNA site.
Right. Maybe if we had caught it early while it was still green and it was still fresh and it hadn't been washed out and all that stuff, there's a better possibility of that. So I even did the interesting stuff that we do, like when we're doing archaeology, is the nest entrance is directly east and west. So looking out to the west is where the opening is, and you go east to go into it. Now, if I remember correctly, and I may be wrong, there's a Native American, I don't know, it's not a legend, it's more like a habit or a teaching, that when you set up a tradition, that when you set up your teepee, you set up the doorway east and west.
Huh. Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay. All right. I want to read a few questions and then he's going to go on.
Okay.
David says another thing. What if they make these David, sorry. I don't know what I said.
There you go.
What if they make these to draw and use them as traps for bedding animals? Just a thought.
That's a great possibility. That's a thought.
Okay. Dale says, could it have been someone's hunting blind? Only if that someone had the brute strength to twist 4 to 6 inch trees off of each other and weave them together. That's the other thing I wanted to comment when I was in there. This thing was solid. There was no collapsing it. There was no pushing it over. Everything was woven together like cross hatches.
Yeah.
And even the floor was solid.
Yeah, she was literally able to do pull-ups on the inside of it to pull herself up.
Yeah.
That's how strong it was. It wasn't just, piled together for a blind to hide in. I mean, this thing was structurally sound.
It really was. And Flat Rock says it could have been used for ambush hunting. Donna asks, would the length be long enough for a Bigfoot to be prone and give birth, or do you think a female would squat over the cocoon opening to birth? That was our original thought, was that it was a squat birthing thing.
Yeah.
That was the original thought.
Yeah, that was the original thought. Now we'll be coming back to that.
We're going to circle around to that.
I will circle back to that. Meanwhile, you keep those thoughts coming, put them in the chat, because we're going to get right into something very interesting right after this. Friends, American farmers recently warned us about food shortages. They're not going to be able to grow enough food this year because of an off-the-charts fertilizer shortage. This means you need to stockpile emergency food if you don't have some. Get prepared with My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest preparedness company, proudly offering Ready Hour brand products because they're the very best. Click on our affiliate link below and stock up now. These kits provide breakfast, lunch, dinners, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. You won't go hungry when you have enough food. Click our affiliate link below. Don't let your family suffer. Act now while there's still time. All right, we're back. So now, here is something that I took a minute, and it's always good when you're doing research sometimes at these places. You know, you get excited and you just kind of like rush around everything and try to get as many pictures as you can and think thoughts but
take selfies.
But one of the things I did is we had a few minutes to burn, and I'll get to that later.
By the way, David, we never get political about anything ever. You know that.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm sucky liar too.
Yeah.
Can't lie to
So anyway, I did have a few minutes just to sit down, and I do this quite often when we go in the woods, is I'll sit down, lean up against a tree, and just look and think. Take a breath, relax, listen, try to block everything out, and just contemplate on what I'm looking at.
And actually, that's not when your big epiphany happened.
Well, that's when one epiphany happened, not the big epiphany. That was later. We'll get back to that. We got a lot of circle backing to do. So anyway, when I was sitting,
that's such an unfortunate phrase now.
When I was sitting there looking around, something came to my attention, and we caught this on film. Now, I had started. We weren't going to do this live. What we're doing now, I had started doing one of our 10-minute short version documentary videos.
We're still going to put that out.
I'm still going to put that out later, and that will be. And so you can wait for the film to come out to see us actually film this, the video of this. But I got stills from the video, and I want to show you something that I noticed when I was sitting there next to the nest. And here it is. You think, wow, the forest. But if you were to stand at the nest and turn a circle, you will see a fence all the way around this thing.
By the way, this was his second epiphany. This was not the big epiphany. This was the second one. The big one was not this.
Yeah. So if you look, there's a log across that one, a log across here, a log across that one. Several logs piled on top of each other because they weren't as big as the other ones. And this one here was broken off and knocked over, and it's up higher too. They literally built a fence around this thing. And the shocking thing was not one of those trees were cut either.
Nope.
The bottom, they were pushed over. The roots are up. Or this one here was actually, this is huge. I mean, this thing's like,
that is not
like probably 12 inches around or bigger.
That does not happen with snowfall. I mean, where it broke was not, if it was snowfall, it would have broken up much higher than that. But this was like 4 feet off the ground.
Right. It was pushed over like 6 or 7 feet above it. It pushed over and broke that.
Yeah. That was actually the first thing I noticed in the whole area, 3 weeks ago when we first went.
So all these logs were off the ground or huge that you had to climb over to get to it. And they were completely, and when you see the video, when the video comes out, I turned a circle and showed you it was completely around this thing except for one little area was left open.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Lockbeard suggests maybe it's none of these things. Perhaps it was a gathering basket woven by the mountain giants. When you say that,
but aren't baskets made to pick up and move?
Well, I'm thinking
this is more of a permanent structure.
It was permanent. You'd have to be awfully big to carry that thing, but maybe like Moses and the bulrushes.
Yeah, could be
a huge Pharaoh's daughter.
And David said, "Glad you mentioned the UV light. I have one for rock hunting. I need to put that in my pack." Thanks for the tip.
Really handy.
It is really handy. Actually, I'm trying to get my hands on luminol, which would help. Because you could spray the area down and it would revitalize any dried up biologicals. Yeah. So I don't even know where you get that.
All right.
Or if it's legal to have it. I think it is. I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. The police use it in forensics. So anyway, So
isn't that the same stuff we used to spray on the carpet and then we shone the UV light to see where the cats had peed?
Yep, same stuff.
All right, so go get a cat pee kit. And you'll be fine.
There we go. So anyway, good idea. Anyway, so the boundary around the nest is a fence. I'm pretty sure there's only one single little spot that didn't have a tree across it, and it opened up to the
it opened up to the south,
to the east.
No,
but it's
sort of,
yeah, but it is the only spot that you have
that you don't have to climb over anything.
That you don't have to climb over everything to get through, but it's also the only spot that has like openings through the trees that you can actually see for a distance. The rest of them you can't see from a distance, but this time this one spot where there was no tree across the road, or across the barrier, was this shot right here, was this opening, and everything's funneled to this opening. So what does that mean? I have no freaking idea.
Actually, you do.
Well, it could be the only avenue of approach or escape, where you can escape but see stuff coming. I don't know.
So I don't know how you're going to segue into when you had that first epiphany.
I will get to it. Just hold your...
You're driving me crazy because I don't know where you're going with this.
I know. So
I've got a whole dramatic monologue I could share about how he came to his epiphany, but I don't know if he's going to share it or not.
All right. This here is an actual video that you're watching. I took a camera while we were doing our investigation and set it on one of those logs that go around this thing, this nest, and just let it run. And do you notice something? This nest disappears. You literally have to climb over the rock or climb over the tree, and until you get on the other side of the tree and walk closer to it, you can't see it.
Perfectly camouflaged.
So this is camoed all the way around it. So it looks, you can't actually see it. What one, Donna's?
Mm-hmm.
What'd she say?
Donna says this nest area is at a birthing nest, then used as a short-term nursery.
Quite possibly. Interesting question. So and Don said, was the base of the tree compromised at all? Looks like they could have been.
Some of them were.
Some of them were, yeah. Mainly because in 2017, there was a fire burned through here. So
and then it flooded, right?
And then it flooded, but all the trees, most of these trees, they survived the fire because they're still green on top, but the bases have charcoal, around them and stuff. But so they are slightly compromised. I can give it that.
Yeah. So yeah, you can buy luminol.
Okay, David said we can buy luminol from Amazon. All right, of course you can, because you buy anything from Amazon. So this is the view walking up to this nest. Unless you're standing directly on top of it, you won't see it.
In fact,
especially when it was green.
In fact, it was really funny because we actually went back a third time. We weren't planning to, but this is kind of the whole epiphany thing. But the third time we went back, we actually lost it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. It's like, where did it go? I mean, that would have been totally weird.
I know. We first were freaking out. Uh-oh. It was eaten by...
Didn't we climb over that log? Well, that was that log. And then there was, say, so many logs you had to climb over. We lost track of which ones we had climbed over.
Yeah, so it took us a minute to find it, but we did find it. Yeah. After I figured a porthole had opened and it disappeared.
Yeah. To follow the glowing orbs of light.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
No orbs. So after our first day here, well, actually, technically our second day that we'd been there, we spent a lot of time there this time. We were looking. We went back and we actually camped.
Not too far away.
Not too far away.
Which was our original intent.
Yeah.
Our original intent was not to go back that third time.
Oh, Don asked, how far was the hike? It's about, there's a road that goes by up on the hill, and it's about, what you'd say?
It's got to be 3/4 of a mile.
3/4 of a mile.
And it's not necessarily, it's definitely not a Sunday afternoon picnic walk.
Right. So it's on the side of a hill to get down to where this is. Now where the nest is 50 yards from the river in the bottom of a canyon. So,
and it's definitely not a peopled area of the canyon.
No.
I mean, it's getting to the river for a human is challenging.
Yeah. So about 3/4 miles down a cut bank, down a canyon into the bottom of the canyon where it flattens out a little bit, where the river flattened it out. But
I just want to tell this part of the story so bad.
What part of the story?
Well, so we were on our way. We've gotten back in the truck. We're going to scope out a camping site. And like about 500 feet down the road, Scott hollers, "Oh, fudge cookies!" That's not what he said. And I said, "What's wrong now? What's wrong now?" Because it's always something with him. God bless his little heart. And he says, "I forgot my trap cam."
Yeah, we had not planned to go back, but I forgot we had left trail cameras down there, and for a week, the week before, and I forgot to grab them when we came back.
So that's what put in our heads that we were going to have to go back the next day, and go back in there. So that's the only reason we went back the third time. And so now we're at the camp.
We're at the camp, and we got the camp set up, and we were eating dinner, and I was sitting there, and once again staring off into the woods, and then it dawned on me, what if this is not a nest? Donna. So my thought is, so I got slides for that. So if you look closely at the original photo, which I had on my phone so I could look at it, the original, when it was still pristine, with all the greenery on it, there was a small opening to get down in that thing. Now, Hannah said, she's 5'8", and it was kind of tight for her.
And by the way, I'm not 98 pounds, but thank you, Renee. I am so honored.
Yeah. So it wasn't tight, but she wasn't comfortable to lay all the way across the bottom of it for her. So I got to thinking, what if this isn't a nest or a birthing spot? It's just got that little opening in the top. And honestly, there's no actually walk-in door.
And I do want to say, the opening, granted, I'm not the size of a female Bigfoot, but I cannot imagine that would be at all conducive to squatting.
Yep.
The angle is just all wrong, and there's really no solid foothold.
So if you look at this little opening and this nice, pristine little igloo, which has a nice little bed in the bottom of it, it dawned on me, this isn't a birthing spot. It isn't a hideout. What if it's a crib?
Renee nailed it.
Renee said a playpen, a crib. What if it's something you stick your child in while you're out hunting, or while you're going down to get water, or you just need to get the kid off your back for a few minutes?
Because you're going to murder it if it doesn't shut up. Yeah. I can't imagine that Bigfoot babies are any different than humans in that respect. Right.
So what if it is a playpen or a crib or nursery bassinet, however you want to call it? So when we went back the next morning, we played around with that idea.
This would not have happened if you had gotten those trap cams.
Right.
Because in your head, you would have buttoned everything up and you would not be staring in the woods.
Yeah. So we went back, and it was almost perfect. Well, Hannah's a little short for a Bigfoot, but she has her
Blackbeard's so funny.
So she has her stick here to mimic a child, baby. Her stick baby. And we actually, when we put the video out, we have video of her doing this, but it's almost easy to bend over, lay your kid in there. And like Renee just said, that makes the fence makes more sense now.
Yep.
It's to slow predators down. So I'm pretty sure, well, I should put it this way. My educated guess is that this is probably a crib for a baby.
Yep. Donna says until they're big enough to walk with them, it's a nursery.
Yep,
Brilliant.
It's a nursery. So that was my thought.
And Dawn says Mama drops baby off there to go do motherly things.
Exactly.
Namely, not murder that child.
Yeah. So, of course, our viewers are always one step ahead of me. It's kind of funny because we got back, and of course, when we're out there, there is actually no signal where we were at. So there was no chance of checking anything. So we got back, and as soon as we started getting notifications on the phone, I got a notification that we had a
comment on last week's video.
Comment on last week's Nest video, and it was from Sherry Ray, and she says,
"I'm late with my comment, so I do apologize. My thought on this structure is that it's a place to hide their baby while they hunt. It's way too small for an adult Squatch. Thank you for sharing your research." She just nailed it.
She nailed it.
No.
Yeah, there you go. And Lockbeard has a good point here too. Maybe for predators, or maybe just slow the kid down if he gets out of the barricade. You know,
I have not met a kid yet that cannot navigate its way over one of those baby gates. While parents are busy trying to figure out how to disassemble it, the kid has already broken free and is driving the car.
Don says it kind of makes sense. Mama drops the baby off there.
We read that already.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, but here's the thing. Do we have another ad? I think we do. It's that time.
Not other than just talking about
upcoming stuff.
Do
you want to talk about upcoming stuff now or later?
Yes. Okay. So
we're going to take a break.
We're going to talk about upcoming stuff, but just wait. There's actually more. When we got back there's actually more.
Oh my God!
So,
does anyone want to guess what his favorite show is? Put it in the chat.
My phone's going up. Sorry, I forgot there.
All right.
Okay.
So, what's coming up for Squatch America?
What's coming up for Squatch America? Okay, so if you have a chance to get to Pocatello, Idaho.
You'll be there in 1 month.
We'll be there in 1 month, September 23rd and 24th, Pocatello, Idaho.
For Bigfoot Rendezvous 22, sponsored by SasquatchPrints.com.
All right, so it's going to be at the fairgrounds this time, and bigger venue. And, of course, Dr. Jeff Meldrum is headlining it with Cliff Barrickman. From Finding Bigfoot. We are going to be a guest speaker.
We're the subheaders.
Mark Marshall from the Ape Canyon Project. What's her name?
Becky Cook.
Becky Cook. I can't remember her first name.
She's an author of Bigfoot Does Idaho.
Bigfoot Lives in Idaho. Bigfoot Still Lives in Idaho. Bigfoot Always Lived in Idaho. I can't remember. She's got a whole series of books.
Apparently he's an Idaho native.
Yeah. So that, and the new and final Brandon's the guy who runs this thing. He told me this is the final update. So the last guest speaker that was to join us, his name is Michael Freedman. There's a D in it actually. You can't read it, but anyway, for those of you who don't know who Michael is, his father name was Paul Freeman. Get it?
Why is it Paul Freeman and Michael Freedman?
It's Freedman, I think. I don't know.
I
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Anyway, So it's the son of Paul Freeman, and he just recently wrote a book about his dad and the Bigfoot discoveries up in Tollgate. So there's that.
It is free to get in. If you want to hear the headlining speakers, it's $25 a day or $40 for the weekend.
For the weekend. So, and then after that, we are going to be on the Eagle Cap train rides. What's the date?
October 1st.
October 1st. That's in Elgin, Oregon. Then the Yakima Bigfoot Con, October 22nd. Yep. And then way in the future, we'll be on April 29th at the Falk, Arkansas Falk Monster Fest in Falk, Arkansas. So there's that. All right. So Pappy says he's glad that we got back. By the way, hello, sir.
Hi, Gordon.
Hi, Gordon.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means. Okay. I accidentally clicked it. All right. So.
All right.
So here we go. We're going to get back into the. But wait, there's more.
Oh, Daisy did not get loose this time.
Yeah, we did not lose the dog this time. Surprise, surprise. Okay. So, if you remember last week, we talked about there was a possible footprint we found. And this was next to the river, the 50 feet away down there next to the river. This was old.
It was up against a tree.
Yeah. And I think
kind of about 8 feet up a bank from the river.
Maybe not even 8.
Maybe not, but it was funny to get to.
Yeah. So, and it was right at the base of a tree. To give you an idea, we found that.
We actually found 2 prints.
Yeah, we found 2. The other one was just.
It was so degraded. There was no salvaging anything.
Right.
From it.
So this is about 11 inches long. And there's the footprint. Now, from the picture, you can't really see a whole lot, but we were able to bring casting stuff and we cast it.
I want to know how Grover Crayons, the Freeman cast was so tidy because
it was in mud. It was in silt.
Oh, not in pine needles.
And it was fresh. It was like minutes old.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's the cast. So to give you an idea, it's pretty good size. But when you look at them sideways, this is the telltale sign. So you got the heel here, and you can even see that it's kind of, I don't know if I gotta hold it right. It's kind of curved because you got this mid-tarsal break right here. You can actually see it. I think on this side you can see it better. You see the groove? There we go, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so you got the heel has a certain depth to it. The front pad's a little bit thicker, as it should be, and the toes are even thicker. Now, the toes aren't very defined. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. You can sort of see one there and one there and one there.
I think dermal ridges on this thing is not a go.
Not a go, because this was in pine needles, basically.
Yeah.
And so, but it is a footprint cast.
And it is about the size. It's about, 14, 15 inches long, which is...
Well, it's 11.
Oh, it's 11. Well, that could be a young female adult.
Absolutely.
And that would make sense down by the water in this nursery area to have a female there.
Yep. Or it might be the juvenile after he grew up, but maybe not.
That'd be awfully fast.
That'd be awful fast, yeah.
I'm thinking it's more like
mom.
either mom or even a sibling.
Oh, it could be the year before sibling.
Yeah.
Or 2 years before, however long.
I don't know how long they stay at home before their parents kick them out of the house.
Yeah. Who knows? So I want to go back to the week before when we were there. Okay.
when we were knocking and whooping and getting so much activity.
Okay.
Go back to the slide where it shows the way out up the hill.
Okay. So, yeah, and?
Go on. Where is it? There it is, right there. So, if y'all look through the trees, our truck was basically, put your cursor around about where the truck might have been.
Well, the truck's probably right. Well, it's kind of further up the road.
It's further
this way.
Yeah.
Further this way, but it's up here is
On
where
there's
the roads.
a road.
There's a road, but it's way. You can kind of see it right there. It's way up there.
Way up there. Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. When we were having all that vocalization activity and the knocking, we definitely were able to tell that the knocking was coming from that direction up the hill, because on the other side of the road is just steep uphill.
Yeah. So where we were here, and then this is kind of, this slope comes down like this, but it comes here and goes way up.
Just almost straight up.
Yeah. So if you go to the way up part above the road is where we heard the tree knocks. It's kind of funny because where we were at, the nest is right down here. We're standing actually with our backs to it to take this picture.
Mm-hmm.
But
what I'm getting at is that as we were knocking and I was whooping, because I'm the best whooper on the planet. Sorry, Bobo. The clacks kept going up that hill. And when you came back down, because you had come back in to put trap cameras while that was happening, because that was happening with me while you were putting the trap cameras down here, there's a tree that fell not too far from you.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
And then the clacks started moving up the hill.
Right. So actually we had left this area. I think I got rid of the map.
Probably.
That's on the other thing. But when we were down there the first time, and when we had lost the dog, and there was coyotes yipping, and we went and chased the coyotes. On our way back,
there were clacks leading us away from that area.
Yeah, we had to wade across the river to get back to where the nest was, and we had just crossed the river, and we heard a tree knock. Probably in this area,
back towards the nest,
back this right about here. And then when we got back to here, there was nothing. And then when we climbed back up to the truck,
you opened and shut the door.
Shut the car door. Then we heard another crack up in the woods, which was way above us at that point. But then I took the trail cameras and I walked back down here, and a tree fell right next to the river, or across the river. A little ways. I couldn't see it, but I heard it. I heard, pop, 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 crack, and it crashed and it fell. And the thing is, there's no wind. It wasn't raining. It's been dry for a while. I meant, do trees just magically fall in the woods? Probably.
And while he's down there doing that, we've had so much activity that I'm back up with the truck with the dog, and I'm whooping and getting knocks in response from up that hill.
Yeah, but I was down the hill and the tree fell down the hill.
It's just weird.
It's just weird.
Okay, so Renee, we're definitely going back in the spring.
Yeah. And Dawn asks, no idea how long the structure was built. So here's the deal.
Lenny went.
Lenny, in fact.
We have a picture.
We finally we went back, we met with him, and.
It's over.
There's Lenny. Okay. So, Lenny's the one who found this. Lenny's the one who, this is Lenny's hunting area. So, last October he was here bow hunting.
And there was no nest.
And then when he came back mushrooming in May, it was there. So it had to have been early spring or late. Well, actually, it was still green when Lenny found it in May. So it couldn't have been that long,
and that,
since it was built.
That would make sense as far if, unlike humans that have babies all the time. And I don't know, do gorillas and other primates have babies all the time, or do they have a birthing season?
I have to look that up. I have no idea.
I don't know how female Bigfoot fertility cycles work, basically. But if they're like most other mammals, they'll birth their young in the early spring, giving them the summer and the fall to grow up before they have to migrate for the winter.
Right.
So, Dawn says, to the right of the center, the picture on the top of the hill, it looks like there's a biped stand. Go back to that meadow shot, or the shot of the way out. I'm calling it the way out.
The way out.
Okay. Right of center, it looks like a biped is standing. Put your cursor there. Is that what he's talking about?
Right of center.
This little blob.
Could it be that blob?
That's left of center, I think.
I don't know.
That last time. So and Michelle asked if we heard anything when we went back. No, not a peep, not a nothing.
Nothing. The next time the next weekend we were there was nothing. No tree knocks, no nothing. I brought my thermal camera. There was nothing.
Yeah, it was like late summer and everyone was done.
Yeah. The only thing we saw was chipmunks and squirrels. So.
Yeah. Donna says that she had the similar experience up a hill, loud, large sounding steps, then a tree fall with no wind. Further right of the hill.
There? See that?
No, not really.
That right there. I'm going to circle it.
Is that right, Dawn? We're circling it.
It looks.
I'm not.
If you look here, see, it looks like there's a figure right there.
Oh. If his cursor, if this little laser pointer is at approximately the right spot, let us know.
Yeah, it should be right above my laser pointer. If I get my.
Above that.
Above that.
Go higher. That's a tree. Wait.
There. That?
No.
Right above the cursor?
This, to the right of my finger.
Yeah.
Let me move the cursor.
Right near the tree.
Is that it right there? That's some serious. If it is, I'm thinking pareidolia all.
So what I promise you, Don, what I'll do is I have the original photo, the 4K version of it, and I'll blow that up and take a look.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a couple other comments on here. Do you want to deal with the film? Yeah. Okay. This is about the Freeman film.
The Freeman footage looks pretty good to me, but research of about 50 years says it's a hoax because the Bigfoot is head bobbing.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think is being from this area and having lived through that. I was in let's see, when was that? I was just out of high school when that was found, and I lived less than 15 miles from where that place was. So it was a big deal around here. After researching it for a long time, it's not a hoax to me anyway, because there's that one thing you can do with the Bigfoot footage is to draw a line on the video, and I have done this across the video. So what you do is you back up the footage to where you first see the Bigfoot. You put a dot on his shoulder. Then you fast forward the video to where it crosses the screen, and you put the other end of the line on its shoulder. And then you back it up and you play it. And if you see if it's bouncing like this above and below the line as it's walking across the thing, it's probably a person. If it's gliding without bobbing, without jumping or vaulting over its hips, basically, it's probably a Bigfoot. And that one does not.
And the Freeman.
He might bob his head, but he doesn't. His shoulders doesn't bob.
The Freeman footage is a little bit different than the Patty footage, because the Patty footage, they had a tripod and their camera was stable. Freeman was like filming it with a Super 8, right? Or something like that. And he did not have camera stability. So anyway, Blackbeard, you're freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Finding Bigfoot, the heartbreaking story of a lonely Bigfoot with mange, rejected at birth, found by humans, now grown and desperately seeking his people and some femme Squatch love. His name, Bobo.
Bobo. That is hilarious. I know Bobo, actually. He's a
good,
sweetheart.
He's good people. He's good people.
Is. Okay.
All right, Don says he zoomed it. It's just pareidoia.
Okay.
And honestly, when we took this picture, there was nothing going on. I'm telling you that there was not a coyote. The dog was content to just chase her stick. So yeah, it was the woods was dead that day.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so there's our return trip to the Bigfoot nest site.
Any last comments, questions for the good of the order?
Let's see what people guessed on our.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I forgot. I finally got to do one. I finally remembered to do one of those.
So 17 votes, and you know what? Those of us who went different, baby care was 12%. If you voted for baby care, you got it. Personally, I think storing human remains is awesome, and there are people now that will have nightmares just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no way an adult Squatch could be comfortable in there. No way at all. So I do think, however, with that said, as far as squatting to give birth, I imagine so, because even in our fairly recent past, human women would squat to give birth. So
fairly recent past, still today.
Most, it's just kind of Western world where we want to lay down and be lazy for everything.
Yeah. I have very intimate knowledge of the Hmong people of Vietnam, and they still do that.
Yeah.
Actually.
And then they have the baby tied on their backs and go back to picking strawberry.
Exactly. So, David says, I thought you were going to read it. A researcher.
I don't know who you're talking about, but guess he's a claimed expert, which there are none. Bigfoots probably have different mannerisms and body humans just like humans.
Mannerisms and movements. That exactly is it. David, that was something I just was talking about with Hannah the other day. I had to ask her what the big word was. She's good at big words.
Anthropomorphism.
Anthropomorphism. Yeah, I should know that because I'm an anthropologist and it has the word anthro in it. But it's just hard for me to say.
Don't squirrel in the comments. Keep talking.
Okay. That's something as humans that we do. We try to apply human characteristics to the stuff we research, which is a very bad thing to do.
Especially with animals.
Yeah. Yeah. We deal with our dogs and our cats. And
in the end, you wind up with Pixar.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. But Blackbeard says, I love this. If I was forest people, after seeing people poking around the structure, I would evacuate the area until the humans get bored and wander off. And interestingly enough, this place was obviously abandoned. It was built after hunting season, and it was vacated before mushrooming season.
Mm-hmm.
So you're absolutely right. However, I'm thinking we could go back next May, and there could be something fresh there.
Could be. Might be a great idea.
Yes.
But as of right now, this area has the problem with this area right now is that when is it tomorrow? Monday.
Monday starts.
Monday hunting season starts. So the woods are going to be full of people starting Monday.
Bigfoot's long gone from this area. They know not to be here. Tried clicking on storing human remains just to be funny, but Yeah, it is. And Dale, yes, that's why we went back the third time, because he'd forgotten to fetch his trap cam. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing.
There was nothing on the only photos on the trap cameras was me setting it up and me coming to get it.
Yeah. Donna, the only reason I don't think it's a squatting birthing nest is because of the angle of the entrance. And even a big female, if she squats, she would have to like squat and have other Bigfoot holding her, and the baby would shoot out straight rather than dropping in.
Yeah.
Just the angle is all wrong for that.
Yeah.
There was nothing on our cameras.
Yeah.
On the trap cam, nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Renee says hunting season starts Saturday, actually. So.
Yeah, that's why we're not going to Granite this Saturday.
Yeah. Heads up. We had another gentleman say, hey, I saw one of those nests up in Granite. So he's going to meet with us, and we're going to go check that one out.
I think we're going to have to go the weekend between bow and firearm season.
Yeah, bow and rifle season.
Yeah.
There's a weekend between, and I think that's when we're going to go, because I just don't like poking around the woods during hunting season. And not because I'm afraid of getting shot. There's that possibility, but
I don't want my dog to get shot.
That, and I don't want to screw up somebody's hunting either with us poking around.
So, yeah. I literally tried to figure out how they would use that nest for birthing, and I just think the angle's all wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a crib.
Because, the angle was perfect for putting in and taking out. Mm-hmm. Not for squatting and, no.
So yeah, we should do a cribs episode, because we're going to see another one.
Dad. We're going to go get all up in another crib.
Yeah, we are.
Yo, mama.
Yeah, don't do that. So.
Did you know that I cannot rap?
I know she cannot rap. She tried. It was hilarious. Sopranos do not rap. Okay, so.
True.
So actually, we want to give a shout out again to
Lenny.
And keep on squatching, buddy. And thank you for reporting this and stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, he got a free complimentary t-shirt.
Yes. if you send us a report and you take us out to your site, we will give you a free t-shirt.
Yep. There you go.
It was a cool discovery, Donna.
It
and
was.
Actually, this really kind of, I think it re-energized research and going out into the field. Michelle, there was nothing in the nest. Like we said earlier, he had tweezers, he had magnifying glass, he had the UV flashlight. There was nothing. There was no biological matter in the nest. Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, this far in, it's going to have detached, blown away, been rained on, it just was,
Because he first discovered it in May, and it's August now, so.
And it's been a hot, dry summer.
Well, a really wet spring, too, by the way, and then a hot, dry summer.
All 4 days of wet spring.
Yeah.
It was like a snowy spring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's another thing. With that built like that, it would have been protected from snowfall. And the other thing I was thinking of, the way the angle of the opening was, if they had a covering, is if they can weave a nest like that, they can weave a covering. They could easily put a cover on the opening and make it completely invisible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? We are coming up at 30 seconds away. So.
Dawn, the next time we are in New England, I will be very honest. I have actually enjoyed staying put for a summer, because I've gotten to do all sorts of things that I've always wanted to do, like have a garden and have chickens, and kind of I've been nesting a little bit. But when we get back to New England, you better believe it.
Yep, because we may be going somewhere next summer. I don't know where. Maybe somewhere next summer. Okay.
I have a portable garden planter.
Yeah.
Have produce will travel.
All right. So thank you very much for watching, folks.
And as always, yes, thank you for watching. And actually, there wasn't too much BS on this.
No, there wasn't.
So we love you all. Remember, our job is to investigate the unexplained, which is exactly what we did this time.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
So until we see you again, you keep watching and
we'll keep squatching.
Bye now.
Bye.